Welcome to the latest of my deep dive videos. Today I'm going to explore a shuddering opposition between Mars and Pluto, which reaches a peak on the 3rd of November. Now, Pluto's going to be moving into the sign of Aquarius for the longer term, for the third time, on the 19th of November. But Mars is moving into Leo on the 4th of November. They're still going to be in touch with one another through to the 13th of November within 3 degrees. In fact, from the 25th of October through to the middle of November, they're within that critical 3 degrees. This aspect is really powerful. These are the two rulers of the sign of Scorpio. The last time they collided across these two signs of Cancer and Capricorn was in June 2021. Now, they did go face to face in May on the 21st in 2023, but then Mars was in Leo and Pluto just in Aquarius. What's the ramifications of this? What's the significance of this? I think it's huge, particularly with the presidential election on the 5th of November. Please stay with me as I go through this. I'm going to share with you the event chart from a solar but also natal perspective. The natal perspective is fascinating because it puts Mars in house 7, an area where Mars is in its detrimented energy, but also in the sign of Cancer, it's already in its 4. In terms of the solar perspective, Mars of course is in house 4 and Pluto in 10. I'm then going to go through each of the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces to give you a flavour of what you can expect from the 25th of October through to the middle of November. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. If you're new to my channel, it's great to have your company. Please help the channel to thrive and click that sub button, but also the bell notification symbol. If you're a returning visitor, all your views are truly appreciated. Please take advantage of my year 2025 special offer. You can order your personal forecast now, but also get the rest of this year free, plus your life roadmap report, and 30% off. Please see the link below. And also below, you can check out your year 2025 Zodiac Deep Dive Forecast. They're launched and ready for your viewing. So let's just first of all think about the archetypes of Mars. Mars rules the sign of Aries, but also of Scorpio. Its rulership of Aries is very much about action, initiation, can be courage, can also be about assertion, and of course Mars can be about anger. But its rulership of Scorpio is much more complex and subtle. Here Mars wants to enjoy gratification. It can be about intimacy. Certainly it can be about transforming ourselves through coming up against certain challenges, particularly in our close alliances. What about Pluto? Pluto, of course, is the modern higher octave ruler of the sign of Scorpio. And that's why this event is so potent, because the sign of Scorpio is about transformations. And Pluto about to go into Aquarius. What a huge transformation that is. But broadly, since 2008, has been in the sign of Capricorn. Apart from those 2 visits to Aquarius, for 11 weeks in 23 from the end of March, and from the 21st of January this year, Pluto's birthday, through to the 2nd of September, when through its retrograde it inverted back into Capricorn. Now on the 19th it will move back into Aquarius for the longer term. Now, the sign of Capricorn, where Pluto has broadly been, is very much about culmination in the physical context. So that's to do with our ambitions, can be to do with traditions, big organisation, government, corporate affairs. But also it's that part of our nature which likes to have some evidence for all our hard work. Nothing wrong with that at all, but Pluto can be about transformation, but it can also be about power, obsession, manipulation, control, jealousy, leverage. So what does it mean with Mars and Pluto coming together in this crunching opposition on the anaretic degree of both signs? Both signs are cardinal, so like to get their way, but Mars in Cancer is potentially very defensive, prickly, moody, reactionary. What can we expect? Well, I feel that we could encounter someone, particularly if you've got planets between about 26 degrees in a cardinal sign through to about 3 degrees in a fixed sign. So let's just explain that. So if you've got late Aries energy, early Taurus, if you've got late Cancer energy, early Leo, if you've got late Libra energy, early Scorpio, if you've got late Capricorn energy, early Aquarius, you're going to feel this event in an extremely potent way. Now, Mars opposite Pluto does confer upon us tremendous willpower, strength of purpose, determination. We want to really go for it in a very applied way, and it can see us break through obstacles and achieve success. But that energy can also be incredibly ruthless and dominating. So we need to be mindful of what our approaches are and what our motivations and behaviours are, but also the people that we may encounter. So as much as our stamina can be enhanced by this particular event, it's also possible that if we do try to leverage a situation in order to get our own way, to the point that it breaks something very badly, and it can lead to huge power struggles, this particular aspect. It could be that someone may, within the mix of this energy, somewhere, be very vengeful. And because of the emotional energy of the sign of Cancer and Mars there, someone could be very reactive with that energy in a way that that vengefulness is completely ruthless. If you are going to be travelling anywhere from the 25th of October through to the middle of November, I really would avoid those more high risk areas. Now, that often points towards big cities where there can be a higher level of crime, but we all need to be careful wherever we are, essentially with this aspect, because someone may desire something we possess, and it could be a material item because of the Capricornian energy. So don't tempt fate. But certainly if you're in a situation at work where you're dealing with a line manager who tends to be extremely, almost obsessed about an adherence to the company's strategy, if you push back against that, it may not turn out well for you. But equally, if you're a born-again bohemian, this aspect can encourage you to break free of those kind of environments and do your own thing. But because the sign of Cancer can be about families, emotions, and where we live, just be conscious of family politics, because some kind of tension that's been simmering away for some time could reach a high point. On the screen now, I'm showing the event chart from a solar perspective. This means the ascendant is nominally at 0 degrees in Aries. And of course that puts Mars in the 4th sign of Cancer and Pluto in Capricorn. So that reflects the broad thrust of what I've been describing. But let's look at it from a natal perspective, based on universal time and Greenwich, not because I'm in the UK, but because of the prime meridian. I feel this gives us a point of reference collectively wherever we are in the world. And ironically, Mars is in the 7th house. So Mars in Libra, which is very 7th house energy, is not its strongest position. It is detrimented because it's opposite to that placement that it rules in Aries. And of course Mars in Cancer, as I mentioned, is in its fall. So there could be a situation where someone is absolutely determined to get their own way, because that's Pluto in the 1st house, very willful, but Mars in the 7th house could also see us set a boundary or push back or want to dominate someone around a relationship matter in a way which is way off the scale of fairness. So it's going to be quite tricky for all of us in all sorts of relationships to just rein in a tendency to try to push something because we see it as we do, and because the presidential election is occurring on the 5th of November. Obviously there's a lot of polarized views going on, a lot of people seeing things in very, very different ways, so we need to just take a breath. And on the exact event on the 3rd of November, when they're exactly in opposition, you can see that Mercury and the Moon are in the free-spirited sign of Sagittarius. Mercury is detrimented here, so we need to use our language, our philosophies, our belief systems carefully, because we could be a little bit quick to speak and get caught up in the passion of the whole event. Whereas if we can keep a little bit of decorum and a little bit of humanity in the discussion, that is something that is going to be good to do. Thank you for joining me for that overview. I'm now going to go through each of the 12 signs from Aries through to Pisces to give you a flavour of what to expect. But please do check out your year 2025 deep dive video by clicking on the link beneath this video. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one with me, I am a consultant astrologer. It's the main part of what I do. Please check out my testimonials below. I don't alter these as they come in. I share as is. Discover what other people have found working directly with me. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Aries, if you're working towards completing on a property purchase or rental, this aspect can just give you that extra bit of stamina to hang in there until you get it across the line. Because we all know these situations can be particularly draining and challenging and testing for our endurance. But if there is a situation where you want to make a move in a property or an ambitional situation, and someone close to you is not quite as engaged with what you want to do, one of the things you need to do through to the middle of November is really invest in greater patience. Now, once Mars moves into Leo on the 4th of November, that is going to help you to bring a greater sense of charisma, personality, and even humour to the equation. But generally speaking, if you're dealing with a situation either professionally or at home that's to do with an ambition that's important to you, and someone else isn't quite tuning into your emotional needs around this situation, it could create a lot of frustration. And that frustration could boil over by needing to assert yourself, but assert yourself to such a degree that you could end up perhaps winning the discussion, but losing something very important in the process. So someone may go along with you at this stage, but really feel that you're almost trying to browbeat them into what you want from the situation. So for us all, it is going to be important to try to stay balanced around those desires, which could be furnace like hot. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Taurus, do you feel it's fair when people say Taurus folks can be very stubborn? Well, do you know, if there is a point of principle that's particularly important to you through to the middle of November, the chances are you're going to want to stand it up in quite a volatile way. Mars for you in the third house, at least through to the 4th of November, when he moves into your fourth house, which is much more sensitive. But Mars in the third house gives us a desire to really tell it as it is. And because Pluto for you is in the ninth house, that's your higher truth. But it's also the way your world is evolving. You're wanting to be more adventurous. And it's taken you towards, once Pluto moves into Aquarius, the third opportunity to reset your professional situation. So there could be some meetings that you're going to go through, some discussions. You may do some presentations. You may need to persuade someone. If you do work in a public facing role or sales, your further can be absolutely extraordinary through to the middle of November. But then it's important not to adopt a might is right approach. And if someone does have a different set of values, different belief systems, a different worldview, do just bear that in mind. If you find yourself feeling a little bit frustrated or hemmed in, or feeling that they're not really tuning into what you're saying, the harder you try, the more frustrated you could become. So it's important to understand what you want to say and how you want to say it, but also accept that it's unlikely that any of us ever gets anyone or all people to see things exactly as we do. So if you're very invested in something, just be aware of that, because the chances are that if someone isn't, that's going to be more aggravating through this period of time. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Gemini, one of your great gifts is you use your artful mind so dexterously to dance around different situations and weigh up their value to you. And value is going to be a big part of this opposition for you personally. But there's another word that could creep into this event that might surprise you, and it's obsession. If there's something you really yearn for, whether it's a person who's making your pulse race, whether it's a big ticket item, whether it's just those lovely chocolates that have been stored away for a rainy day, whatever it is that's really calling out to you, your capacity to resist is going to be reduced hugely. So if you do encounter someone who really does have a mesmeric impact upon you, the chances are you're going to want to make something happen. But don't force it too much, because ultimately you could push that person away so easily by letting your passion become so all-consuming that it's difficult to switch it off. But that's where your natural logic and detachment can be such an asset for you. And on this particular event, you do have the moon, your ruler Mercury and Venus all in your 7th house of related. So when the opposition between Mars and Pluto reaches its peak on the 3rd of November, they can just help you to just take a little bit more of a detached view. But if there is someone on your celestial horizon that you really fancy and they feel the same, my word, this can get hot, really hot between you both. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. Cancer, for you, this particular aspect does need a great deal of care, particularly if you do have planets towards the end of your sign. And that's because Mars in the sign of Cancer can be naturally quite reactive. So since the 6th of September, you may have found yourself wanting to be a little bit more outspoken and much more direct. Usually you'll do anything to avoid a confrontation. But since 2008, probably some rough stuff has played out in your relationship world. Maybe you've had to cut or felt you had to cut the cords with someone you were previously involved with, or someone's done that to you. It probably hasn't been pleasant at times. Equally, someone may have come into your world who's turned out to be a hugely important player. If there is relationship politics going on for you at the moment, it is going to reach a peak. Just be aware that your preference to avoid all-out combat can mean that your way of dealing with tensions can be to withdraw. But sometimes when people don't express anger in an open way, it can turn to silent violence, where the removal of contact can in a way be just as controlling and challenging as having an outright argument. So just bear that in mind. I would advise that you do try to keep the lines of communication open. Even if something seems very challenging, you feel someone's not being particularly fair, challenging your authority, or not respecting your boundaries, try to keep the lines of communication open. Because once Pluto moves into your 8th house, again, for the 3rd time, on the 19th of November, you begin a vast journey, which is going to be very much to do with learning a lot about some of the things that you've encountered in your life so far. Because the 8th house, Pluto can be about consequences and outcomes, but the 8th house can be deep transformations, which can include endings too. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Leo, for you, Pluto being broadly in your 6th house since 2008 has really called upon you to reach into your inner resources, because you've done a lot of giving to others, and that support may be appreciated by some people, by others not. But it has in some ways blunted your creativity. And if you're feeling at the present time that you're not able to express the magic that's very much about who you are, it would be understandable if you did feel that that wasn't an ideal situation, even all out unfair. But just be aware that Mars does join you on the 4th of November. And once Pluto returns to Aquarius on the 19th, even though Mars and the opposition to Pluto widens out, it's still ongoing for the 2nd half of November. It's just broader, but you will get an opportunity to leverage what's important to you in a much speedier way and gain much greater traction. But I feel for you, this event could see a lot of old issues, old resentments and old frustrations boil up to the surface, and you could find that with Pluto in your 6th house, that the detail of certain situations may be what you want to assert to other people, and they could be surprised, particularly if you do dredge up something that they've long forgotten. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Virgo, for you, this opposition goes across your 11th and 5th houses, which, to be honest, compared to some signs, that could be a little easier. The role of Mars in the 11th house is in some ways blessed, because Mars can be about what we need as individuals, so our ego. The 11th house can be more democratic. It can be about the group, the network, That doesn't mean to say we shouldn't stay authentic to who we are, but it does enable us to collaborate. So the opposition, which last occurred in early June 2021 between Mars and Pluto across this axis, may give you a choice, and that choice could be around certain people that you're drawn towards romantically or perhaps socially or in terms of your interests. So you may find yourself a little bit at a crossroads, but once Mars moves into your 12th house on the 4th of November and Pluto back into 6th on the 19th, you have been prompted during Pluto's 2 previous recent visits for the 11 weeks in 23 and since the 21st of January this year to the 2nd of September to perhaps alter some of the fundamentals in your world. If you've been resisting that, you're going to have a long period ahead from the 19th of November urging you to do that. So what I feel this particular opposition can mean for you is a time when you may just want to have an all-out, rather hedonistic celebration of the good parts of your connections, but I feel there are some shiftings going on around your deepest affections. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. Libra, for you, Mars, since the 6th of September, has been occupying a very dominant part of your chart, which is rather Capricornian-like. It's the daylight position, the 10th house. Mars here gives us an opportunity to receive acclaim, to raise our profile, to be more ambitious or goal orientated, but most of all have a greater sense of our self, our ego, but in a more public way. If you're someone who has tended to be very mindful of the needs of others, which is a very Libran trait, it's possible that if in a family or emotional situation you still don't feel really heard, all the pain that you've gone through with Pluto squaring up your planet since 2008 could pour out again. But once Mars moves into Leo on the 4th of November, it will give you a chance, particularly once Pluto moves on the 19th, to realign in a way which gives you the chance to connect to the people who are really meaningful. And some of those politics that you've really been battered by, particularly around your family or emotional life, are given short shrift. But I think some issues that have been bubbling away for some time could show themselves again, unfortunately, across this next 3 weeks. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. Scorpio, for you, Mars and Pluto are, of course, your co-regents, so you understand their energy better than most. But what about Mars in House 9? Mars in Cancer may be sensitive, but the 9th house is about freedom, independence, travel, perhaps being a bit more rugged, and perhaps even pushing yourself in a more physical way to take on some challenges. Whereas Pluto in the 3rd house, broadly, since 2008, has been transforming relationships with siblings, neighbours, your immediate environment, your belief systems, your absorption of knowledge, your approach to technology. All of those things have been transformed. So you could find yourself, particularly with the big debate of the election, having an all-out conversation about the pros and cons. That's fine, but it's going to be important for everybody around this event, such as the supercharged energy of these 2 warlike players, to try to just be aware of that old maxim of agreeing to disagree. But if you are travelling anywhere, Scorpio, over the next few weeks, you could find yourself particularly impatient. But if you you are doing something more rugged like cycling or running or swimming, just don't push yourself too hard beyond a sensible boundary for your particular situation. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. Sagittarius, ever since 2008, when Pluto moved into your second house, you may have had some challenges around earning money, or at least qualifying your identity in terms of how you earn money. If that sounds a little oblique, it's because Pluto transforms, remember. So if you go back to 2008 and you think about what you were doing then and what you are doing now, there's likely been a transformation, certainly in terms of your skill set. And then, of course, Uranus being in your sixth house of work and routines and practical applications, that's brought in a lot of fresh information and fresh approaches too, if a little disruptive. So this event gives you an opportunity to think back over those years and understand much more about how you view yourself, how you value yourself, but how you interact with other people too. Because the chances are with Mars in the 8th house, you're much keener or more aware of where you will set your boundaries in terms of work and your worth and what your value is. And that strength of personality that you've gained through some challenging times with Pluto in the second house, Uranus in 6th, and Saturn in the 4th over the last near to 2 years, you get a chance now to see how far you've come. But if there is an opportunity that you want to go for and it can increase your earnings, don't underestimate your value, your skills, the knowledge you've gained. Also, if there is someone who's on your celestial radar that you're finding very intriguing at the current time, I feel that once Mars moves into Leo on the 4th of November, the chances are this aspect can prime up your desire, but Mars moving then can see you make that move to get in touch. Or if something isn't working out and you're feeling really hemmed in and it's too heavy and intense, Mars moving into your 9th house can see you want to reach a point of liberty and freedom and the door marked exit. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Capricorn, Pluto moving through your sign broadly since 2008, huge transformations, not easy. The first house can be our bodies, certainly can be our ego, our immediate identity, how people perceive us, how we assimilate the world around us. And Mars in the 7th house can be a point where you may feel, if at times other people have not really been attuned to what you're saying, that you can be a lot fiercer in really pushing the point home in terms of your boundaries. So if you've been dealing with someone that you feel has overpowered you, has not really been taking enough note of your value, not really showing enough respect for you in frank language, this event can see you push back in a very powerful way indeed. However, if you're wanting to push back against someone that you essentially love and are very close to, don't push too hard because it could snap the relationship completely. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Aquarius, Mars being in the 6th house ever since the 6th of September, has given you a lot of push to up your physical activities, perhaps show a lot more application around the daily routines of your life. And it's not the sexiest location, but Mars in the 6th house can be a people pleaser in a way that Mars isn't elsewhere, because Mars is about us. So if you've gained pleasure since then helping others in some way, or applying for a job that's more service orientated, you've really nailed it. The complication is, if all that sacrifice that you've been putting in doesn't feel recognised, if there is some deep wounds about that lack of recognition that perhaps are more historical, they could come up again and come out in quite an explosive way, to be honest. So just be aware of where life isn't perfect, because we all know the only perfect thing in life is its imperfection. So don't have higher expectations than is really possible around particularly a professional situation. And if you do work in an environment where it tends to be a bit backbiting, those office politics are quite vicious, do keep your guard up a little bit. Make sure Mars helps you to complete your task in a very accurate way. You can't change how some people may be, but you can just defend your position skillfully and tactically. Once Mars moves into your 7th house and Pluto into your own sign on the 19th of November, you'll be much better placed to take the thing forward on your terms. Please check out your year 2025 personal horoscope forecast offer by seeing the link beneath this video. If you order now, you'll get the rest of this year free, but also you'll get your life roadmap report. The combination of all this information will give you searing insights. It's great value. Each chart is totally unique for the person it's produced for, and you can see the link beneath this video. So Pisces, Mars since September the 6th has been in a glorious location for you. The 5th house is very much about having fun, sociability. Mars here has given you an extra sense of devilment, perhaps even a bit of mischief. You may have found that your social interactions have picked up, but is there somebody in your friendship circle who's been feeling a little bit miffed because you haven't been quite as inclusive of them in what you've been recently doing? Because the 5th house is what we need to do for our own personal outlets and self-expression. The 11th house is where we connect to others in a more collective way. Can also be to do with our long-term future, of course, our higher values and fortune. But I feel that this aspect for you, it does give you some opportunities. There may be some choices around friendships, even around your love life. There may even be someone in your friendship circle that's starting to creep up on your senses in quite a powerful way. But whatever's going on in your situation, just be aware that this is an aspect that can make people very wound up, very overcooked. And if you can just use that healing vibe that's very much at the core of your being, that Neptunian energy, to just distill a little bit some of the raw desire that's washing around, it will help you to perhaps enjoy some raw desire, but not get so caught up in it that it actually then leaves you feeling rather bereft if you don't quite get the outcome that you want. It's been a real pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me for this very important Mars-Pluto opposition deep dive video. Please check out your deep dives for year 2025 under this video, and also if you've yet to order your personal forecast for next year, please see the link below for my special offer.